Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. This is something completely different. Doing this for several reasons. One, to kind of prove that I do play other games besides racing games. Two, because I want to. Three, I've been toying with the idea of doing like the old traditional Let's Play for ages. This game has been done before. I don't think there probably isn't a game in existence that hasn't been done in a Let's Play environment. This is probably a really bad idea to do this as my very first ever Let's Play, because the game is very long. But I love this game. Even now, bearing in mind this game is 15 years old, I still love it. It hasn't aged well, but it was revolutionary of its time. What am I talking about? The title of the video will give away that I am referring to the right scene. There's my desktop. Wonderful site. Dungeon Siege. Released in 2002 by Gas Powered Games, published by Square Enix. Oh, did I spend a lot of time playing this game when I was younger? Oh, yes, and how. I loved this game. Action RPG. Soon after the likes of Baldur's Gate and Planescape Torment. They were 99 and 2000, if memory serves. So this was a bit later than that. And this was a massive hit. There were two sequels, neither of which I've played to any real degree. This one I ploughed so many hours into. I absolutely loved it. But let's crack on then, shall we? Let's crack on. Start a new game. Now, whilst I was trying to get this to work, I was messing about with creating a character. So I'm going to stick with this name, Toby Irenicus. The sword is the in-game cursor. Now, this look is, of course, made up by customizing these particular pointers. You don't see this for very long. I mean, I love the fact that look at those spade hands. Fantastic. You don't see this look for very long. I mean, what is going on with his feet? Look at that. Well, I think they're supposed to be some kind of like bearskin shoes or something. I don't know. Oh, that's some horrid disfigurement in his feet. Either way, you don't see this for very long because you get armor really quickly. So all this gets covered up. This is purely for how you start. The only bit you really see is the head, as this gets used in your picture at the top. So let's crack on. Normal, because it's been a very long time. You can actually adjust these as you go. The gaps in between each difficulty level are colossal. So I'm just going to run it on normal, and I shall let this intro play.
A long time ago, on the continent of Arana, the once magnificent empire of stars had crumbled into oblivion. Paralyzed by its own power-hungry legions, and torn asunder by an ancient and merciless evil. But the 10th Legion, the dying empire's most valiant soldiers and most trusted, withdrew far to the west, to a land called Ebb, seeking to preserve what their empire had lost. Here, in the rugged mountains and the rich valleys of their new home, they founded the Kingdom of Ebb, a kingdom that has embraced peace and freedom for 300 years. But there was a price. Few now remember the evil that opposed them. Fewer still recall the dark sorceries cast to save them. And none could foretell that one humble farmer would stand between a vengeance from the past and the survival of the kingdom.
The Krug are attacking. I couldn't hold them back. You have long been my friend, but you can do nothing more for Old North. Go to Stonebridge. Find Giorn. If the Krug have elsewhere betrayed us, your bravery will be needed by the king. Go now.
And there is your story. That is a Krug. There. Not going to go in just yet. Chapter 1, Stonebridge. These graphics were revolutionary of its time. Now, golden rules of RPGs. Oh, get rid of those. I know it's been a long time since that, but I think I remember how to do that. Here's your journal. You can replay
The Krug!
the quest text in its spoken form if you so choose to. Golden rules of RPG playing. Go where you shouldn't go first. Speak to everyone, click on everything. And this map is particularly good at highlighting where you haven't been. There's a chicken. Can't even highlight it. Just going to pause it for a sec. So down here you have formations and orders. Now this doesn't mean anything at the moment because there is only me in the party. So I'm just going to do that. Now, I didn't really do a great deal with these, even with a full party. But who's that one? Oh, disband. Anyway, always pick up everything you possibly can. So here we have a rake and a shovel. Here is your inventory. It is not particularly spacious. So mousing over a item gives you its statistics. So fast attack speed, damage 2 to 4, damage 1 to 2 and a slower attack speed, 1 to 3 and slower attack speed. Everything is worth money. So always, always, always pick up everything you can. Now you will fill up your inventory really, really quick. That is inevitable. So after a while you do have to start picking and choosing what you're going to carry. Money is vital. You need to chipmunk as much of it as you can. Now, the more into this Let's Play I get, assuming of course I actually follow it through, there will be a lot of this, just running around highlighting areas of the map. Now, I do intend to kind of go everywhere, do everything, read all the... Oops, I'm sorry about that. Dull pitfall. Pressing Z picks up all nearby items. So let's have a look at that pitchfork. There we go, 2 to 4, but it's slower than the knife is. And there's a hoe, fanar, and that is 1 to 1. Well done. Now, wrong. No, that's cast. What was I saying about? There. Oh, there we go. It's up here. Here are your box standard character items. You start off completely level. Now, in earlier iterations of this game, you tended to start with strength, but that got patched out. That got kind of leveled off, so to speak. I'm just going to pause it for a second. That got kind of leveled off. So you started completely even. So the archers and spellcasters were not disadvantaged straight away. I will always, always, always start this guy as a melee character because it is... Archers are not easy to start with, and spellcasters even less so. Here is your spellbook. Haven't got any spells. Active spell 1 and 2 are basically these 2 slots here. That is for your bow. That is for your melee weapon. Or, well, that is for your ranged weapon, whatever it may be. Unlike Diablo, you cannot run around with the map open. Well, you could, but it'd be quite hard to play the game like that. There's the first spell that you pick up. You notice it is an orangey colour, which indicates that it is a combat magic. And that is a Krug Scavenger. That Zap is a nature magic spell. Chair Leg is a small, fast melee weapon, 1 to 3, That is already better. So, bung those in there. Now, mousing over these will tell you this is fire shot, it's combat magic. There's a wall of fire on your target. That 5 to 7 damage, it's a range of 10. 10 meters nearest damage. Mana cost 2, all fairly self-explanatory. At skill level 1, you start at skill level 0, as is dictated by these numbers here. You can already see that I've started to build that melee, just because you've got no choice to start with. But it's not hard to then switch over to one of these options pretty early on. That is a nature magic spell. Does 2 to 4, shorter range but lower mana cost. It also fires much quicker than the Firebolt does. I'm going to show you how the Firebolt works. It is like that. You don't level it up by firing a nothing, unfortunately, and the zap looks like... We'll do it. Okay, you can't cast the zap at nothing. The zap looks like that. Here's some more scavengers. So at the bottom it tells you the name of the enemy and how much health they have. It actually tells you to left click to attack. It doesn't actually matter. Pure habit, I right click. So anyone familiar with D&D style RPGs will know about attack rolls and defense rolls and things like that. All of that sort of thing happens in the background. That's why they're swinging away and they're not hitting each other every single time. Let's check that club actually. Well, 2 to 4, it's exactly the same as the knife. So never mind. Chicken! So those kind of dice rolls all happen invisibly, all happen in the background. Baldur's Gate, you could actually bring up the dice roll. Oops, there was a bit of a skip forward there. Those old game engine bugs still exist. Town of Stonebridge. Now, so therefore, not every time you take a swing at someone you're going to hit them, because they're going to have a defense roll, they're going to have a dodge roll, blah blah blah. And equally, same against you. Every time someone takes a swing, see, they're not hitting me every single time. Health potions, mana potions, purity, self-explanatory, well, they have 4, so I press Z and that then pick them up. So there you go, this sit there. Press H to use a health potion, M to use a mana potion. Now, unlike other games of their ilk, those potions are not just one-use items. I think I was an autosave that popped up at the top there. Now, it says restore health 200, and you can see at the top left that my maximum health is 49, but I have 46 because I've taken a few hits. If I were to press H now, it would take a drink from the health potion to restore my 3 health, and it would then have restore health 197. So it takes the value of health it's restored out of the bottle. Exactly the same concept with mana. Later on, you do get bigger bottles, so you don't have to hold tons and tons of individual little bottles. That is a scrub. And that one is a farm scrub. Even though it is stationary and half in the ground, you can still miss it. Now, archers have a bit of an advantage in the way that projectiles work in this game. Oh, this was another thing that was really big on, and they were really proud of, the way that you have a depth perception down in the chasm there. Particularly if you were looking down on rivers and things like that. Yeah, trees and vegetation don't appear in this map view, so you can hear that noise. I can't click forward because my way is blocked. That's why you can't run around in this view. You do need this view pretty extensively to see where you haven't explored. Oh, there's a scavenger. That is just a default Krug noise. But it tends to be, it's the melee ones that make that noise. Scavengers tend to be really, really, really pathetically weak things. Very, very slow, very easy to avoid. If I was to run off, they would struggle to catch me. Gold. I don't think I need to explain what gold is about. Aha, that is a frack. And there it is. And it's a little fly. And there he is. Squish. There we go. So that's leveled me up to level 1 in melee skills. So if I go to my character sheet, here it is, level 1. melee skill. Certain weapons need you to have a skill level, certain weapons need you to have a strength level. Typically an element of both later on. Same with dexterity and ranged for your ranged weapons, and intelligence and magic all go hand in hand. Now, what I was talking about the projectile system, now if I just switch to the bow a second, there is a way, and I can't remember how you do it. I'll use the combat magic as an example. So, this makes a projectile like that. Now that projectile can be dodged. The zap, however, is an instant hit. Oh, that's a Krug Scout. They run much quicker and are a little bit stronger. Now that is an instant hit, that zap. That's why it's a shorter range, attacks a bit quicker, and doesn't hit as hard as the fireball does. Lunge stacker. Ow, 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 ow. Drink it. Even though I'm being clouted on the head. Ah, tattered leather. Better than nothing. Just about. So, because that slot was empty, when I picked up that item, it equipped us straight away. Now that weapon has... Oh, that's a frack piercer. There he is. It's a ranged version of the frack. Gives a lovely red splatter when he dies. Now, right click just swaps the item of that slot over. So as I was saying before, the ranged guys have a bit of advantage that if their projectile hits, then that is how their kind of calculation of whether they hit or miss is done, is whether the projectile physically hits the target. Melee is obviously done on the rolling system I've mentioned before. Now that little thing running off is called a Gremel. There he is. You can't attack that. As you can see, the sword icon doesn't go red on him. It will do on him, because I've got a melee weapon selected. Now if I had a spell selected, it would have that blue. Now you can get a mixture of the two. You can get a red sword with a blue glow. That happens if you have multiple members of your party, some as melee, some as casters. There's one scout. And that's another one. Here come some more fracks. I find myself pausing rather a lot, just to help me get my command sorted out. Especially useful when you've got a lot of enemies around you. Or if you need to leg it. Which you will have to do. Boom club, that's as literal as it sounds, that's a piece of boom. 2 to 3, 2 to 5. So the reason why I swapped the blunt dagger for from the knife, you can see the damage is 2 to 4. So minimum damage it will cause is 2, maximum is 4, whereas this has a higher maximum. So I could potentially do more damage, but I could do no less damage. Some people prefer to use two-handed weapons, each to their own. I tend to do one-handers in this game for my melee characters. Just rather out of kind of habit, you could say. Oh yes, there's another little caveat with this game. Ranged characters, when their projectiles hit, I can't really see it on my character at the moment. That frack piercer just hit me with... No, you can't see it, can you? No. Basically, the projectile sticks in you. So if you get shot with by an archer, the arrows actually stick in you. But of course, it doesn't kill you straight away. It doesn't cause any bleed damage or anything like that. So you can end up with like a dozen arrows just sticking out of your torso. That will happen later on. Just a quick drink here. So now that I've used the health potion, there you go. You see that one has actually been drained a little bit. And I'm just checking how much time I've got on my clock. It's coming up to 20 minutes. Marvellous. And also the amount that potion can restore is less. You can top them up. If you had several half-empty ones, you can combine them. Make one full one if you needed to free up a little bit of inventory. The music is a little bit kind of hit and miss as to when it kicks in and when it doesn't. It's just background atmosphere really. Oh, there's another scrub. They both do 5 mucus balls at you. Another scout. Die! Filthy Krug. So basically what I'm doing here is just like a sweeping pattern, up and down, up and down. You can't really go through the whole map doing that because the map's not square. Not perfectly square anyway. You'll see that this map is not done on a grid. So for instance, this path is not at a right angle. That bit's not at a right angle to this bit. So you can't just go left 90 degrees, then go forwards, and then right 90 degrees, and then right 90 degrees again, and things like that. Yeah, the map is not built like that. But that is a Krug dog. It's, well, see for yourself. You see up the top here that the level is filling up. If you hover over it, you'll highlight your melee skill. Same with your ranged and your magic skills. And that's also apparent here. So this is just a quick visual representation of where you stand with your level. So if you're trying to level up your skill to allow you to use a particular weapon, you can see how you're progressing. Items can bolster, can magically bolster these stats. +1 to melee skill. Oh, there's another scrub. And there's a box. Now, Toby Irenicus is that hard he can break a box with a knife. So, nothing more here. There's no good zooming out there because that's actually, you see as much there as you do here, I think. Oh no, you do see a bit more. I kind of always prefer that. I don't like that kind of brown parchment-like view around the outside of the border. Little Gremel. Aha, that is a snapper. It's basically a fish that can walk. Come on. There's a weird noise. Get the piercer. That one. Your damage output is primarily governed by the weapons that you are using, although it is modified to a point by your strength, your dexterity, etc. I believe. I've never really looked into the kind of rules, if so to speak, beyond that. We have a house here. One right over here. It sounds like a box being broken, so we have a Krug dog and a scout coming after me. Now what I might do later on, I'm not really going to bother when there's only 1 or 2 enemies, but I might switch to one of these longer range attacks if, for instance, I've got a pack of enemies and I'm either trying to lure one away from the group or just basically trying to start the damage a little bit earlier. There's a downside to doing it like that though. The more you use a particular damage type, or attacking type I should say, the more you'll level it up. Now if you start by, for instance, if I was to start using the bow just to get a few hits on an enemy before I then switch to the melee weapon, I would start leveling the bow, but I would get a little bit less leveling up done in the melee skill just because I've used it that little bit less. So, oh, now we've got quite a few enemies at once. We want the scout. Now, you see he's run off. Now, that's not a fear thing. That's not because he's taken a certain amount of damage. Whoops, just when you get a bit too low on health, your portrait starts flashing yellow. Now, he turned and ran because basically they have what is in RPG terms is referred to as an aggro range. Where, they'll get, from the point that they're initially aggro, now for that scout that was about here somewhere, they have a set range. I couldn't tell you exactly how big that range is, before they turn and run back again. The thing is, they don't run back to the position they were originally aggroed in. There's a dead farmer. So, for instance, if that scout is aggroed over here, he'll run all the way over there. He might get to about here. Now, if I haven't killed him, he might run back to about here, and then he'll go all the way over here. So you can lure enemies away, if you so need to. First time, I still remember, first time I got to that bit, it frightened the life out of me. That door suddenly burst open, 3 Krug scouts coming running around. In certain parts of this game, health potions and mana potions become very, very scarce. So, try and use them sparingly. It can be a little bit frustrating when you're just swinging and swinging and swinging and swinging, because there's nothing you can do to affect how often you will hit. Just keeping an eye on how long. I'm going to keep these episodes about the same length of time as I do my Project Cars one, so around about 25 minutes, which I've actually just gone over, I've just realised. So that's going to be it for this first video of Dungeon Siege. I've just picked up a magic armour spell there, so we'll stick that in the spellbook. It's gone red because I don't have the nature magic level on this character to use it. As you can see, I need magic level 3, and I'm not doing anything with that school of... or with that skill, that school of damage, so... oh, excuse me. So therefore it's just sat at 0. So that's going to be the end of this particular episode. Thank you very much for watching, and if all goes well, I'll continue to do these videos, because I really, really love this game. And if it comes to another thing, well, it'll be fun. So that's it. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.